all of these manifestation techniques and methods and modalities are actually just permission slips for your conscious mind to be able to relate to what happens next, where you actually just get to shift into that version. So it's really not about what are you doing to manifest something, but it's about giving yourself the permission slip where your linear mind is not going to be too shocked out of its system to actually just hold itself together and be able to be okay and believe that everything is fine when your reality shifts to that level. And some of these shifts are so drastic. And so the desire itself, it's not like you're the one who is coming up with them. It's not like you're the one who wants it so bad. No, you're actually just an organism, a complex organism that is responding to the electromagnetic signals of all there is and all of these different timelines that are finding itself through you. Welcome, beautiful soul family, to this calibration and transmission around manifestation, where I'm gonna also open up a portal to go deeper into this. And before we begin this calibration, I'm gonna invite you to this small little ritual of light language and singing bowls to prepare your energy to receive the teachings. But if you don't want to do that, it's fine. You can skip ahead to the timestamp. But if you want to really calibrate through the energy and make sure that your levels of your energy is prepared to go through this calibration, then you can go ahead and join me on this little opening ceremony. And we'll also do one at the end. Sokya mekorana so nikaraya so mesorekia so shkiasi. grounding your energy, arriving in your heart, in your sacred heart space. Shakorea, sukoea, sukoea. Arai, korai, saye, sarea. Scanning your body with true awareness and releasing any energies that are in your body that is not in alignment with your truest self. As you become aware of your hips, grounding into the central intelligence core of the earth. Recalibrating your unique energy field. And connecting with your source field, your sovereign source field, through all of your calibrative fields of your soul, blasting your entire energetic field with purifying light, running the sapphire light grid of your soul through the space, through the dimensions, and through the field, owning this field, dispelling any energies, entities, frequencies that is not of your sovereign highest self. Release, blasting away with your pure light, running gold energy, sapphire energy, amethyst energy, calling in the guidance of the highest, purest frequencies of your soul, calling in, invoking in your galactic teams of the purest frequencies, your angelic realms of the purest frequencies, the highest aspects of your oversoul, to be of assistance through this transmission, this recalibration of your oversoul matrix, present here on earth, embodied as human. Emitting protective layers of divine light. Sovereign pillar of light. Breathing, breathing, breathing in and out, running these energies through your field. Akore saikoe akaya sakoe keya sakoe karaya sakoe shaikoe asai shu. Presence, invoking in deepest presence, presence beyond. Saraikoe asai. Your mind, presence beyond who you think you are, presence beyond time and space, yet all inclusive of all of those layers of expressions, in total harmony. Yakarasai, yakai, sakarai, yakai, sokarai. May this transmission be of highest service, medicine for you at this time and space, in this dimension, in every direction, forward, in every direction. Shukarai sakai sa. Shu, see? Coating you with alchemy, Akiara sakoroe empowerment. Oe karasoe empowerment. Ayasokoe akia. Welcome. Koremaso chiara koe sakunarai soe shukia. Welcome, beautiful souls, to this calibration around the new earth manifestation, which is a new set of wavelengths that I'm being guided to transmit through this network of beautiful souls. Thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you so much for vibrating in these high ascension timelines through these earth ascension shifts. Without you, we wouldn't be doing it at all. Each and every single one of you plays a very critical role in this shift. So thank you for your presence, and thank you for vibrating and co-creating this bandwidth to even happen, because even these calibrations, transmissions, it requires high level consciousness to tune in. And so thank you for making it happen. Essentially, humanity has walked this path of spiritual evolution, and there are very much these morphogenetic fields around the concepts, the notions, the rituals around our energetics. And it's no mistake that sometimes you may find it frustrating that you see these ideas and concepts and teachings progress in a certain way, or that maybe you don't find it too resonant, or that maybe you find that it doesn't work for you as much. Because your consciousness is constantly evolving, and also because your consciousness is kind of descending from a higher level, especially for those advanced starseeds or extraterrestrial hybrids, as I call some of these archetypes of people like you who are tuned into this video, basically. And it's not to say that the previous teachings were useless, or that the previous teachings are not important, because they are, because they guide the collective bandwidth to a certain level that makes sense to anchor in the next teachings, to anchor in the next modalities, to anchor in the next perspectives. Of course, there are always timeless perspectives. For example, the ultimate spiritual truths around enlightenment or purity or non-duality, which is one of my foundational transmissions as well. That's a timeless truth. However, when it comes to how that integrates into the daily life of the individual, of harmonizing the individuality with the divine, for example, as in the case of manifestation, the context of it will evolve as the collective evolves and as the new wavelengths are anchoring through. And so again, I want to highlight that the previous teachings are still important, and they do still work to a certain extent, and they work especially well for some people who are actually really calibrated to that dynamic. Just like how there's no one size fits all approach to everyone and everything, these previous teachings would have worked really well for other people. These perspectives work really well for certain people, but there are new levels anchoring in, there are new frequencies being available, there's new plasmic waves. The plasmic waves basically that we receive from the sun, and obviously we perceive the sun from human scientific perspectives as some sort of like an astronomical object, but spiritually speaking, the sun is essentially the broadcasting system of the wavelengths and the codes and the frequency underneath the overall template of harmonic that is in alignment with the divine. So we have our sun, and then we have the central sun, which is Alcyone, and then we have the great central sun. And basically, there are layers to these plasmic waves that get integrated through our solar system, and new wavelengths of the plasma is available as time progresses, which time is a vehicle for evolution, and really the expression of the divine. And so we find ourselves in a transitionary phase where Earth is going through a dimensional shift. As you know, your consciousness is going through a dimensional shift, but for you, it's a strange experience where the experience of the chronological order that you're having as an advanced starseed is not so much that it feels like an ascension upward, but it feels more like you're meeting as a descension downwards into an embodiment. And so when you recognize these perspectives and teachings, it's gonna feel like something that you had forgotten, that you already knew, and you may even feel like this burst of anger because you're like, well, this was how it was always been, like, why is it I'm getting it now? And that's because we're working with the polaric collective waves of like, you are really meeting your consciousness down to calibrate to the individuated aspects, the distorted aspects of the collective humanity, which is essentially a role that you're playing here to play that part. So all that being said, there are new structural modalities that you can start to look at something like manifestation as we approach this transitionary phase. And when you're watching this video, we are literally at a point where the dimensions are available now on Earth. You know, for ages, for literally dozens and dozens of years, maybe even a century plus, people have been talking about this Earth's dimensional shift of what is casually known as a fifth dimensional, but more appropriately fifth density Earth. And people have been really looking forward to this, especially in the last few decades, especially from 2012 onwards. People have been really aspiring to meet this fifth dimensional version of Earth, and it's actually available now. It's available as an experience now, as you really refine your consciousness, and through that fifth density Earth template that you're beginning to vibrate with, which is also available from the plasmic waves, essentially there are new kind of physics available for energetics as we are accessing this shift. So right now we're at a really strange collective consensus reality where the previous 3D constructs still operate, they still function, and yet the fifth density platforms are also functional. You can access both in this plane right now on Earth. And the more interesting thing is, through the fifth density structure, within the fifth density platform of the Earth are various portals and wormholes that lead up to other higher dimensions. So as you will begin to see, it's not just about the fifth density, but there are higher dimensions that are accessible through the fifth density Earth that you are experiencing right now. And you may be having this strange experience of like ebbing and flowing through like the third dimensional Earth template versus the fifth density Earth templates and beyond. And so what I'm here to offer you are a series of codes to activate the templates of the fifth density Earth and the new manifestation techniques that are actually way above the fifth density platform. It's actually these wormholes that'll take you directly to your template level consciousness, which is ninth dimensional and beyond. And you could perceive this as eighth dimensional depending on how you're categorizing the dimension, but essentially if you're looking at it from the 12th dimensional level structure, which is a pretty decent calibration of how to look at dimensions, just like how the 7 chakra system is a pretty decent way to just agree upon how the chakras work, even though there's like infinite layers of chakras. It would be 9 and beyond, and it really is integrating the 0-point non-duality field as well. And so as I am saying all of these words, I hope you know, and if you know my material, you already know this, but this is an energetic transmission. Try not to make too much sense of the words that I'm speaking, but receive the frequencies as they come, because this is a calibration. Breathing deeply in and out. So, with this being said, there's one big perspective. And if you know, as perspective shifts in your consciousness, as you adopt these higher level perspectives, basically cognitive patterns. So if you think about cognitive patterns, they're electromagnetic templates, right? Essentially, you have a pattern of cognition and the neural pathways that are represented in your brain that is reflective of the harmonic templates of how energy flows through your consciousness in the human level. And there are highest level templates that are available now to interact with, and they're available now because of these dimensional shifts, and you may have had access to them previously, but if the collective reality wasn't ready to anchor that in with you, then it'll be really difficult to kind of process it through your default level. But now you're able to actually process it through your default level. So these neural pathways, or these cognitive patterns, they can actually ride in the vehicle of your thoughts in your mental field, their lower mental field, even like the egoic patterns of thinking, the linear mind. And even though it is the linear mind, these cognitive patterns, or the structures of information, are in harmonic alignment with the divine unity, which is actually a very high level kind of embodiment and anchoring of this on the third density, where things become harmonically aligned to the divine truth. So it's not about like we have to just stop thinking and seize linear thinking or whatever, but there's a way in which you can utilize the human mind to actually adopt harmonic resonance with the divine truth. And so one of this that I'll share with you, and it's kind of like this wormhole that you find on the fifth density Earth, is that it is still fifth density, it is still third density as well, and fourth, but there are present embodied wormholes and portals to higher level dimensions that is completely in alignment. So, there are manifestation techniques that basically all humanity has been taught, that they've been conditioned with, and which I am saying is going through an evolution. So if you look at this classical law of attraction and the law of assumption, both of which are amazing, both of which are great. I mean, even if you just think about, right? Even if you think about having a healthy nutrition, having a healthy diet, there's so many ways to have a healthy diet. I mean, some people just thrive with veganism. Some people just thrive with carnivore diets. I mean, like there's literally people who have inflammation that can't not stick to the carnivore diet, and that just works for them. Some people have like ketogenic diet. Some people have intermittent fasting. Some people have a bunch of everything. Some people have an intuitive diet, whatever. What matters more is that it works for them. And what I'm saying here is that manifestation techniques like the law of attraction, like the law of assumption, is kind of similar in a way that there are some aspects of each modality that is very resonant for some people, but it doesn't work the same for everybody. So if you see that there's some people who are manifesting that, or really sticking to something that really, really works for them, I want you to remember about the nutritional diet. I want you to really get self-aware on what works for you, what it feels like. And what I'm here to offer you is like a different perspective on all of this. It doesn't matter. And yes, some of these modalities are very advanced, especially the law of assumption has a lot of valid aspects of it that is really great shortcut, or it's a morphogenetic template that is very valuable. Agreed. But what is interesting is that there are future timelines of you, and there are more evolved, advanced timelines of you. So imagine there's infinite universes, parallel universes. We pretty much live in a multiverse where there's infinite timelines and infinite versions, infinite parallel realities, and especially through the Akashic field, you can access a lot of this, and you can be present to a lot of these potential infinite parallel universes that are merging with yours. But really, there are versions of you who have already achieved anything that you could possibly desire in a way that is just completely aligned. And there are versions of your future self that is realized even beyond the level of the human limitations. And what essentially happens on those levels is that those versions of you like to visit the other aspects of you, for example, you right now, and transfer the evolution and the codes to those versions. And so really, in a lot of ways, you can look at this like the things that you want to manifest, the reason why you really want them is because you feel those aspects of you that is really refined in their soul alignment and fulfillment is reaching through the Akashic fields or the quantum matrix to your current version. And your current version right now, listening to this entire transmission, is likely this centralized point of consciousness where it is interconnected with a vast network of all the versions of yourself, all the infinite versions of yourself. And that is why you're even encountering this information. I know this sounds trippy and maybe it doesn't make sense on a rational level, but it doesn't have to. And so what it is really is that all of these manifestation techniques and methods and modalities are actually just permission slips for your conscious mind to be able to relate to what happens next, where you actually just get to shift into that version. So it's really not about what are you doing to manifest something, but it's about giving yourself the permission slip where your linear mind is not going to be too shocked out of its system to actually just hold itself together and be able to be okay and believe that everything is fine when your reality shifts to that level. And some of these shifts are so drastic. And so the desire itself, it's not like you're the one who is coming up with them. It's not like you're the one who wants it so bad. No, you're actually just an organism, a complex organism that is responding to the electromagnetic signals of all there is and all of these different timelines that are finding itself through you. You're kind of like this fulcrum point of all of these versions of yourself. And it sounds like, how could that possibly be? It does definitely mean that you are the main character of the infinite versions of yourself, but you actually are. Otherwise, you wouldn't find yourself in this vibe. You wouldn't find yourself in this bandwidth and on this earth in this time. You are the fulcrum point of those vast networks of your consciousness. And so really, you're responding to what is already happening. Really, your desires are a response to what is happening. And these desires are actually the universe desiring through you. And understanding these manifestation techniques and these morphogenetic fields, the greatest manifestation teachers have set up a morphogenetic field. They have set up a consensus network of energies that allow this process to be even more acceptable to the human mind. So when somebody says all these affirmations and visualizations and scripting, or the law of assumption, just pretending like you're already there, or like just not pretending, but feeling as if the result is already there. You know, it's not something that you have to really try, but it's like the energy is meeting you here. And for you and for your dear little fragile ego likes to feel like it's doing something. It likes to feel like it's in control. If you actually delve into a little bit of neuroscience, it's actually hilarious. The ego is actually pretty cute, because even when it registers data or when it registers information, something happens, an event happens, and then your brain processes it after a delay and pretends like it had something to do with that event. And it's just what it likes to do. It likes to feel like it's doing something. It's like this little thing that like, I want to feel like I'm a part of something, you know? So all I'm saying is like the manifestation is occurring on its own, and all these impulses for you to try to manifest something is a permission slip so that your mind doesn't lose it. Like your ego doesn't just lose it, like that you don't lose your mind and break all the paradigms of everything that you thought you could believe, like to hold yourself together when it actually shifts and happens. Because there's tremendous value in holding on to that level of linear consciousness, and even that individuated egoic consciousness plays a crucial role in where we're headed next into this next paradigm. And so we don't want to bash it. We don't want to just obliterate it and just get rid of that. And when certain things happen, your mind can actually just get blown. So that's why actually your brain filters out 75+% of all the information that is out there. And that is why a lot of people filter so much information out, and your brain only focuses on what is essential to survive. And so even if you look around the room, the reason why a lot of people don't see all the psychic information, like a ghost over there or an angel over there, is because it's not really relevant to hold yourself together in this consensus reality altogether. And another example is when Christopher Columbus arrived with these boats to the natives. The natives couldn't see the ships because it was so outside of their normal day-to-day life that their brain decided to filter it out, like, oh, that's irrelevant. That's exactly what I'm saying. So your mind likes to hold itself together. Your human mind likes to hold itself together. And so a lot of these manifestation techniques, like the visualization and the scripting, or the affirmations, or the law of assumption, or the feeling, the frequencies, blah, 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 are just permission slips so that when the shifts happen, you feel like, oh, that does make sense because I did all of these things. But the fact is, all of these things were occurring without you really needing to try. So when you're visualizing something, when you're feeling the frequencies of what is already the end result of what you want, these are frequencies that are meeting you through the Akashic field or the quantum field that is kind of merging with your default state of consciousness, and it's new information. And so understanding that there's these principles of manifestations or these teachings, and somehow linking that to your egoic desire, allows those frequencies to exist without blowing your mind. So essentially, it's just doorways for these frequencies to actually pass through the vast filters of your brain that has way too much to process, and it needs an excuse why these new frequencies should even be allowed in. So the manifestation techniques, the law of assumption, the law of attraction, these are just concepts that have been channeled, not to teach you exactly how to manifest, even though looking at it from a human level up, it is teaching me how to manifest. But listen, you're a divine creator, your source consciousness expressing itself through an individuated expression. So you don't need to learn how to manifest, but feeling like you know how to manifest, thinking that you know how to manifest, and learning the techniques of how to manifest what it is that you desire is a permission slip for what is already occurring to make sense to your individuation, and that you're not going to just lose your mind. So with all that being said, is it still valuable to learn these manifestation techniques? Absolutely, because again, it will harmonize with your individuated mind, your individuated self. But there are higher level ways to look at it that will make it so much easier, effortless to deal with. And for a lot of people who have tried a lot of different techniques that didn't really make sense, it's because you are able to process it on a higher level. And so when you get these frequencies on a higher level with these new earth dimensions and these perspectives that resonates with these template levels of your consciousness, essentially, if you are holders of higher dimensional frequencies above 8th and 9th dimension, then there's a lot that you can't really explain that is really spreading around the spiritual community or the general population. And so really calibrating to these higher level perspectives of these template level frequencies is going to align you to actually vibrate in the truth of how you get to deal with these energetics of new earth manifestation, or these higher dimensional wormholes on the earth that is available for you to access now, and how to actually harness and perceive these divine desires that are happening through you and occurring through you, yet you get to actually make it harmonious with your individuated expression of being a divine human. So this is an evolutionary wave that is happening, and I am honored to actually assist you to open and activate these portals if you would like to take this journey with me. So I have this new course called Humanifestation that I've been channeling over time, and you can definitely check out another video that I posted recently, and you can also check out the website to see what this is all about. I'm actually so excited to share this because it's really going to shift those perspectives. And again, I want to highlight here that I'm not the person that is the only person that is responsible for sharing these frequencies. I'm just a conduit. I'm just a channel of an evolution that is already occurring. But because I have actually received and calibrated to these sets of frequencies directed by source energy and with these higher realms of consciousness, it just makes it a lot easier for others to actually vibrate in resonance with this, because I've done all of these template level energetics so that it's really easy and graceful for others to receive this. So you can check out all the information. So before I wrap this up and move on to our little integration session, I do want to share something that because I was speaking about kind of really debunking these truths around manifestation modalities, from a certain perspective, it's really not about what you're doing to manifest that is the core fundamentals of how this new paradigm gets to work itself out, because you can use any modality. You could literally use any techniques that feels right for you. But it's not that, for example, some people say, I know I've heard some kind of galactic channels or spiritual teachers say things like, oh, you know, vision boarding is so 3D, I don't do that anymore, or scripting is so 3D, it's like so old school. I mean, the way that I think, whatever it is you're doing is less of a matter than how you're doing it and where you're vibrating at. It's about the level of vibrational frequencies or the level of consciousness and the sovereign energy that you're running through you while you are dancing with these modalities. Dancing because it is happening through you. Dancing because the visualization, it's not like you have to activate it on your own, but you actually get to become a channel of the vision that is already there. Otherwise, it wouldn't even happen. So it's kind of like you're meeting halfway. So yes, there are new modalities that I'll be sharing, but deeper than that, it's really about frequency. It's really about the vibrational frequencies or your consciousness that you're really embodying as you are engaging with these techniques and modalities. So I wanted to make that clear. Really processing everything from a higher dimensional perspective, from a template level perspective of all of these concepts, these notions, these techniques, is of a very key, fundamental, core difference that will make everything, that will take everything to the next level. Okay, so I hope you enjoyed this little calibration, and if you're interested in my course, Humanifestation, you can definitely check out this beautiful system that I've created. I'm so honored to share this with you, and without further ado, let's go into our little integration session. It is time to embody your fullest potentials that you are here to embody. Chiarai soe ma kore na sai koia. Me kirai kore na kia sakoe. Naro kumakaya sakoe arakoe shuma kirai. Allowing all of these new gateways of these Akashic templates to anchor into your field, receiving from your heart, receiving your highest path through your heart, through your third eye, receiving your highest empowerment through your roots. Through your roots, arakinikaya skoroe, nakoe sakoe marakai kia samakore, sakarai soikia kirai nakurmai sai. All work complete. Taking full deep breaths through your spine. And anchoring your earth energy into the central intelligence of the earth. Connecting with your sun, your great central sun, and your central sun through your soul expressions, your gravitational fields of your soul. Establishing a full amplification of your source field, your source pillar of light, and invoking divine protection over this work on every level and beyond. Thank you for your presence here to receive this transmission. Thank you so much for spending time with me, and I'll see you on the other side. Bye.